everyone, me back here again with a new vulnerable machine. Now today's vulnerable machine is G0rmint, and G0rmint is a new vulnerable machine that has been added to the Vulnerable Hub website. I will put a download link after getting this done. So basically, after doing an nmap scan, as you can see here, I have two open ports associated with two protocols, SSH and HTTP. Basically, if you search for the version of the current Apache version on G0rmint's machine, you won't find any associated vulnerable version. So first, if we go to the main website, let me log out from here. Okay, if you navigate to the main interface of the website, you will be presented with a login screen here, as you can see. Now, if you click on first, don't try to SQL injection, don't try brute force. Those attempts won't be successful. So first, click on page source. Let me close those. Okay. Now, from here, if you search, you will see from here it's saying that there is a backup directory and the content is secret backup directory. So we have a directory called secret backup directory, and that directory contains backup files. Okay, and usually backup files come zipped or compressed. So basically the backup file probably has zip extension. Okay, that's first. Second, if you click on CSS style here and try to visit the page, you will find author information here, the email and the username here, author Nomad, and the email here. Now basically those information are handful when you realize that if you let's take from this, and if we go back here, if we assume that this directory exists and try to access this directory here, so it says not found, but we realize that this directory has backup files. So if we type and here we are presented with an option to download backup files. So because I have downloaded the files previously, I won't download it again. So I will click on cancel and I will show you the backup files here. Okay. Okay, so here are the backup files of the vulnerable machine or the website that's hosted on the vulnerable machine. Now here, as you can see, the login page, the reset password, secrets. Now if you try to get one of those files and write the name here, you can't access the web page for this file because you should be logged in. So if we click on config and open the file, and I have already opened the file here. Okay, I will show you the configuration here. So here's the configuration of the config file here, and as you can see here, there are some commands here that tailored to write a log file whenever a user logged in, whether this login attempt is successful or failure. So here you can see there's a log file. Okay, the log file has a date format. So the log file name is named using the date format of the GMT, and as you can see here, the log file has reason and log, the reason for the log process and the kind of log. So if we go to login.php here to see the mechanisms of logging into the website, as you can see here, I have the process of logging in, and as you can see here, the log variable that has been defined here to be written on the log file carries the email, the email that's supplied or by the user. So, and the add-log function here handles the process of adding the log, which contains the email, and the reason, which is failed login attempt. So whenever a user failed or has been trying to log into the web application and failed, the web application will write a login entry that contains failed login attempt detected with email, and it will has the email that's supplied or was supplied by the user. So this process, as you can see here, is passed. The variable are passed to the log file unsanitized. So there is no mechanism that filters whether the variable that's supplied by the user as the email address is really an email address formula, not other kind of characters or malicious characters. So basically here, the log which contains the email, okay, is passed directly to be written on the log file here. So we have the opportunity to inject some arbitrary commands in the email field, okay. So this is first. So we have the opportunity to poison the log file after we log into the web application. But how we can log into the web application and we don't have any leads? If you go to reset.php file here, you will see the process and mechanism of resetting the password. As you can see, whenever the user tries or requests a new password here is formed based on this formula, okay. So the password is formed based on hashing the current date and time using SHA-1, then sending the result or the hashed password to the new email or the email address that has been supplied, which supposedly should be the email address of the admin, as you can see here. So if we forge if we take this command here or this formula or this line of code here and try to guess the password. So I have here written a file, PHP file, that will SHA the current date and time that's supposedly, or assuming that this date and time is supplied by me, and it will give you the password. So if I go back here and try to reset the password, let's first take the login information. So I will take the email and I will click on, so the email is, and we have the username, and we will click on reset, okay. Now the date, as you can see here, the date and time is actually the password after hashing. So if we take this, okay, and we go to my file here, I will replace this. Okay, now I'll click on save and going to my command line. So if I try to run the file, so this is the password that has been sent to the admin email. If I go here and click on login and write the password here, and with the email address I have, I should be able to log in. You see here, I have accessed the admin panel of the web application, and this is the first step in pawning the web application. Now, after you have access to the administration panel, you can access any file. Okay. You can access any file among the files in the backup directory here. Okay, so if you try to access secret log file from here, as you can see here are the log files. Those two are the log files, and those are my artifacts because I have worked on the Vulnhub machine multiple times. Okay, so you can see all the files existed in the temp directory, including the log files. Okay. Now I click on view the log file here, which dates back to yesterday. I will see here all the failed attempts that have been done by me. Okay, now I can also access any file from here. Okay, now the next step is poisoning the log file. We have previously known that the log file is passing parameters unsanitized from the user whenever the user tries to log in. So the main parameter that will be poisoned is the email parameter. So if I go back here and let me close this. Okay, now if I click on if I go back here, I will see there is secret directory for logs. If I take the name, okay, and this directory should have the log files that are created by the web application. So if I click on my log file, which we discovered recently in the a while ago, I will write 05 the month, the day, which is yesterday, .php. Now I have accessed the log file that has been created yesterday, because yesterday I have worked on the Vulnhub machine. So a log file has been created for me, detailing my attempts, my failed attempt to log into the web application. So here we can poison the file with a parameter, which is to get a CMD on the Vulnhub machine. So if I get CMD here equal, for example, ls, this doesn't work. So if I base64 the CMD, for example, echo ls minus la base64, and take this, now here you can see the command has been successfully executed, and all the files that are existed on the directory have been listed. So what's the mechanism here? The main thing is, okay, we saw that the email parameter here is passed directly to be written on the log file. So if we in the login box, if we write a PHP code, for example, let's say and base64 the code, get, for example, CMD, and okay. Now, if this piece of PHP code will, if I supply this PHP code in the email box, it will pass this value to the value here. So this parameter or this piece of code will be passed over as being the email, okay, to be written on the log file instead of the log variable here. Okay, so it will show up instead of the email. So instead of writing the email here, it will execute my code, PHP code, and I will have the CMD parameter here, which can be executed from here. Okay, so anything written here in page 64 is decoded from here. Okay, so I should pass this value in the email box, okay, beforehand, and then trying to inject the parameter CMD with page 64 code. Okay, so now after I have the ability to execute commands on the backend system, I can, for example, download my own reverse shell on the vulnerable machine. So if I write, for example, http http bind.py is a Python listener. We'll create a Python listener on the vulnerable machine that listens on a specific port and waiting for my connection from the attacking system. So -o temp bind.py is 64. Okay, now again, after I downloaded the file, I need to give it a permission to be run on the system. So here, okay, now running the file. Okay, those steps, just you need to copy the code here and replace it and supply it to the CMD parameter, and the command will be run. Because I have executed this command before, I will not re-execute those commands again. Just you need to copy the code here, base 64 code, and place it here, and you will get your reverse shell on the target system. Basically, you need after you have performed those commands, you need to connect to the vulnerable machine. For some reason, I couldn't get a reverse shell connection on the vulnerable machine, although I have placed the file on the temp directory. Maybe there is something I missed, I don't know, but this is basically the main process. So the port is, as you can see, connection refused. The main reason, I don't know why. Maybe someone will notify me about this. So if we go back here, and if I take secret log file here, as you can see, my file has been downloaded here, but for some reason I can't execute this file. Maybe there is no Python installed on the vulnerable machine. Even if you try, let me retake this. Okay. If you try to get a simple netcat connection, echo okay, listener. Now I will establish a netcat listener on the vulnerable machine. Okay, now I'll connect with that listener. As you can see, connection refused. I don't know why, basically. If I try the other way around, echo, and let the virtual machine connect back to my machine on the port 3434. Now I will establish a listener on this port. Now I will take this command here. Okay, and as you can see, it seems to be trying to connect back to my vulnerable machine, but I can't see any connection to my machine. Although the other commands have been successfully executed, this kind of thing didn't work. I don't know why. Basically, this is the main mechanism and process to get a shell on the target system. Okay, I will stop this, and thank you for watching.